Shambho. Om Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedaishcha Prahinoti Tasmai Tam Hadevamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamshrishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvo Paplavarahita Prajnanaghanaha Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Vedanta Vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sanghapavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohadvanta Divakaraya Bhagavat Padamidham Vibrate Tasmai Bhashyakite Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnana Pradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattva Bodho Vinhiyate. So, Atma Kaha. In saying what Atma is, it was told Sharira Traya Vyatiriktaha, that what is other than the three bodies. Then Avastha Traya Sakshi San, being the witness of the three states. And then Panchakoshatitaha, beyond the Panchakoshas. Okay? In that third, so there are four parts to the definition. The first part is Shariratraya Vyatiriktaha, other than the three bodies. The second part is Avasthatraya Sakshi San, being the witness of the three states and being other than the Panchakoshas. And by itself, why have they gone away? Bring them, these two girls. Okay. And by themselves, what are they? What is it? Satchidananda Swarupaha is of the nature of Satchidananda. Having said this much, four parts to the definition. We have seen the first two, the third one and the fourth one needs to be seen. Panchakoshatitaha. Atitaha means beyond the five sheets, five koshas. What are the five koshas? It is said now. Panchakoshaha ke.
Panchakoshaha ke.
What are the five koshas? Annamayaha, Pranamayo, Manomayo, Vishyanamaya, Anandamayashcheti. Now the fun part of this is, everywhere kosha is there, but somewhere it is, everywhere maya is there, but in somewhere maya, which is then with visarga and aspirate. Pranamayo, so that it is O, manomayo, then vijnanamaya, it is not even an aspirate or even okara, O. And then anandamaya, that has become anandamayash, mayash cha iti. These are all the various forms an aspirate only takes. Somewhere the aspirate expresses as an aspirate annamaya. Annamaya. So here is said, and then you can clearly hear an aspiration. Annamaya. Pranamayo. The aspirate has become O. So there are grammar rules as where it will become O, where will it retain its form as an aspirate, where the aspiration will go away, will not be pronounced, like Vijnanamaya. There is no okar, not even aspirate you can hear. And where will it become sh? Okay. All these are various grammar rules. So these are not anything different. It is annamaya, pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya, anandamaya cha iti. Is it written the same way in your book?
It's written with
aspirations.
All five, except the Anandamaya Shcheti.
So this book is written, these are the notes of a beginner. They have downloaded it. But which is okay to go ahead with. Anandamayashcheti. Now these 5 koshas are enumerated. The word kosha means a sheath, something in which whatever another object is enveloped, covered, and by the virtue of it getting covered, it remains concealed. Okay. It remains concealed, like the sheath of a sword. What is it called? The scabbard. The scabbard. The sword is covered with this scabbard sheath. Or even the cocoon of the silkworm is also called as kosha. The silkworm is different, other than the cocoon. But when the silkworm weaves a cocoon around itself, it is like being trapped inside and remains concealed, not seen, covered, enveloped. This is the meaning conveyed by the word kosha. So also, I am is a self-evident fact. Nobody need tell you that you are. You are is not something, a knowledge that you have acquired because your eyes are working. I am is not a knowledge that one has acquired through inference. Since I am seeing, I must be there. Hey, is it a knowledge like this? For example, when you say inferential knowledge about the fire, since there is smoke, there must be fire. Since I am seeing, I am breathing, I am walking, that means I must be there. Is your being, the knowledge of your own presence, your existence, dependent on your senses contacting the world? Or is it dependent on an inference drawn from those contacts? Neither. Or do you infer, like the French philosopher, since I think I am, I think therefore I am. I think therefore I am. Or you can think because you are there. You are there because you think, or you can think because you are existing. If you are not to exist, how would you even think? And therefore, the thought does not endorse your presence or even create your presence. This philosopher says that the thought creates the presence of the self. How? The thought does not. In fact, the whole attempt of Patanjali Yoga Sutra or the Yoga Shastra is to prove that the thought does not create nor does it endorse the presence of being. And therefore he said that let every thought get suspended and you still discover you are. Patanjali takes up that challenge and he says, not only if you think that sleep is another thought which comprehends the absence of object. Pay attention to this. How does he define sleep?
Comprehends absence.
Yes. What is the sutra? Abhava pratyaya lambana vrittir nidra. He says that vritti, the thought which comprehends, which takes the support of, alright. Now, to understand this a little more, I'll give you an example before you understand, and then Patanjali's position, and then the refutation done by Patanjali, and then the independent existence. Okay? So there is a long, long way to go. So first of all, when you say, I know the pot, I know the pot, which means there is a thought pot. If the thought pot did not arise, you would never experience the pot. Correct? If the thought pot does not arise, you cannot experience the thought. And therefore, in order to experience the pot, external pot, you require an internal cognition in form of pot. Technically, we will call it as ghatakara vritti. Vritti which is in the shape of ghata, which means that the vritti, the content of this thought is the pot. What will we call it technically? Ghatakara vritti. Correct? It is a thought. Ghatakara vritti. And if the Ghatakara vritti does not take place, experience of the ghatam, which means of this pot, experience of that ghata does not take place. This is what happens, that at times the keys are right there in front of you. But why are you not able to register it, see it, experience it? Because the key thought is not taking place. And hence the object remains as if concealed, gone. It is right there in front of you. I can't see it. Where is it? Where is it? So Ghatakara vritti is required. So, what is the object which is the content of the thought now?
It's actually the subject.
That object means that object is this object. Ghata. Okay. Ghata. The pot. Then he says, what do you call as sleep? In various places there are various things. According to the Yoga Sutra, it is sleep is also another thought. They do not say that the sleep is absence of thought. Sleep also is another thought. But how is this thought? Thought which has alambana of abhava, of absence. So, the ghata is not the content of that thought. But what is the content of this thought? Absence. Abhava pratyaya lambana vrittihi nidra. Absence is nidra. So he says that forget even nidra, absence of thought. Absence of thought. If the thought is not there, then would that mean there is absence of the self? I am happy, I am sad, I am beautiful, I am ugly, I am rich, I am poor, I am a man, I am a woman, I am good, I am bad, I am appreciated, I am neglected. All these things which are associated with the I, because of which you feel delighted or sad. All these thoughts which go to define the self, according to the French philosopher, it means it is now the thought is creating the presence of the self, manufactures. We said no, the self is not something that is created, manufactured, fabricated by the thought. And he says, suspend all the thought. Yogash chitta vritti nirodha. From there only he begins. Let all the thought be withheld. including the thought of absence. Including the thought of absence. And there he says, then what happens? Tada drashtu swarupeva sthanam. There the drashta, the seer, is seated, centered in his own nature. So the seer, the drashta, the self is not a creation of the thought. In our regular transactions, we have several different experiences of confusion. These confusions are now systematically categorized with the word kosha. Various confusions. I am a man, I am a woman. What do you think? What are you talking about? What do you mean by I am a man? You're talking about I. Don't forget it. What are you talking about? You're talking about I. And then you are saying I, the meaning of I is a man or a woman. You mean to say the body. Okay? I am hungry, I am thirsty, I am tired, I am feeling very energetic. What are you talking about? You're talking about the pranas. So the confusion is about confusing the I with the pranas. Now behind this experience, I am hungry, I am thirsty, I am energetic, I am low, I am tired. The I is there, but is concealed. But is just as the rope is concealed by the snake. Avritam, the power of concealment. Can you see the rope now? You are going to say it is a snake. In this sentence, it is a snake. The part of the sentence, it is, belongs to the rope. Because the meaning of it is rope. The meaning of it is not snake. But behind the snake, the rope is concealed. I am. Now that Brahma is concealed and becomes I am hungry, I am thirsty, I am energetic, I am a man, I am woman, I am young, I am old. About what are you talking? I am tall, I am short, I am black, I am white. What are you talking about? What are these statements about? Do they reveal the fact of I, or do these sentences conceal the fact about I? A sentence which can be used to reveal the fact becomes the very concealer of the fact. And forget the sentence, this is even non-verbal experience. I am hungry, I am thirsty. I am man, I am woman. And thousands of such pratyayas are there. Uncountable, innumerable pratyayas like this experiences. No matter even if there are innumerable experiences like this, knowledge once and clear is capable of refuting it all. The power of knowledge. है ना? This is adbhut. Then furthermore, I'm not sure. I am what? Not sure. I am feeling confident. About whom are you talking? About I. Who is diffident or confident? Hey, that is about the state of mind. That is about the state of mind. Then I know about whom? It is about intelligence. Function of the intelligence to know is the function of intellect. But you are saying that it is about I. And then finally, I'm delighted. I'm going to see my boyfriend, girlfriend next week. And then you go to the airport or to the train station and then finally see she's waving from the and all that. Even more salivating and this. And then finally you meet. Oh, I was waiting only. How many days will I just see emails and WhatsApp if you finally have come? So there are degrees of happiness also which are experienced. I am happy, I am more happy, I am happiest. I am happiest, you have arrived. So you find that there are degrees of happiness too, with which you define I. If there are degrees of happiness, that means there are degrees of sadness too. But with degrees of happiness. When I is defined, it is Anandamaya Kosha. So thus behind all these experiences, what is hidden?
Maya.
The self. Huh?
Maya conceals. Can we see Maya after every word as the concealing of it? Or is it a different Maya?
No, that is Maya. This is Maya. That is Maya. Both the times it is elongated ma, and then ya. Over here, ma, ya. It is the short vowel. The Maya word comes in two meanings, as a modification or prachuryartha, as density. Okay? Prachuryam. Like the Indian deserts are full of sugar or full of ghee, dripping a lot. prachuryam. That maya has got both these implications. Vikararthe and prachuryarthe. In the sense of modification and in the sense of prachuryam, density, full of. Okay? Now we can proceed. Annamaya kaha. What is this Annamaya kosha? What is this? The food sheath. The cocoon of food. The food sheath. What is that? Kaha. Annarasenaiva bhutva annarasenaiva abhivriddhim samprapya annarupa prithvyam yadviliyate so annamaya kosha. That which is formed, created from anna, the food which is consumed, and water which is consumed. Okay? Water which is drunk. Anna and rasa. So whatever the food mother and father consume goes to become the seeds from mother as well as from the father. The food which is consumed by the mother goes to develop the body of the fetus. The food which is consumed after being born further goes to develop the body till the end, and at the end, if buried, becomes the food for the worms, birds, whatsoever, or if burnt, goes back, becomes the earth, the ash, which in turn turns as food. And therefore, what is this body? Just a modification of food. Modification of, when it is in the plate, you call it as annam. But when it is this, you call, oh, what a beautiful body. What beautiful, this is chapati in another shape. Like some chapatis are round, some chapatis are shapeless, some chapatis are small, some are very big. Some chapatis are brown, some are white. Chapatis. Shapes and colors of chapati. Shapes and colors of food. Here it is all chapatis walking everywhere. That's why Annamaya Kosha. Okay? This is the reason why it is called as Annamaya Kosha. Because it is the modification of food. Anna rasa. Anna and rasa. Further. Pranamaya kaha. What is the pranamaya kosha? Pranadi Panchavayavo Vagadi Indriya Panchakam Cha Militva. No, it's not there. What is it written for you?
Pranadya Pancha
Militva Pranamaya Kosha. What is Pranamaya Kosha? That the 5 vital airs. Why are they called as vital? Because all the physiological functions are conducted by these 5 in 5 ways by the breath. Whether it is the circulation of blood or digestion of the food or excretion or respiration, all these are functions conducted by the air, which now has received a stamp of consciousness on it. As long as the air is not stamped by the consciousness, it remains as air outside. But when it receives the stamp of consciousness, now it becomes prana. And the 5 modifications of the prana are the pancha pranas. So pancha pranas, the 5 pranas, along with the karmendriyas, along with the you remember, along with the karmendriyas, is called as pranamaya kosha. So the organs of action and the 5 Pandavas? Pranas together are called as pranamaya kosha. Okay? Not Pancha Pandavas. Vagadi Panchakam. Alright? Then further. Manomaya Kaha. Who is Manomaya Kosha? If Sanskrit translation has to be there clearly, it will be who is Manomaya Kosha? Not what is Manomaya Kosha. The question will be who? Kaha? Okay. Manascha Jnanendriya Panchakam Chamilitva Manascha Jnanendriya Panchakam Cha Militva Manomaya Kosha. What is this Manomaya Kosha? The mind, along with the 5 organs of knowledge. Jnanendriya Panchakam, the 5 organs of knowledge and the mind together constitute the Manomaya Kosha. Vijnanamaya Kaha. What is called as the intellectual sheath? Intellectual sheath is not, he is an intellectual, something like that. The sheath of intelligence. Now this intelligence also becomes a concealment. I understand, I don't understand, I know, I am proud, I am enjoying, I am not enjoying, I am doing, I am not doing. All those things are going to fall under this kartritva bhoktritva adi abhimana. Okay? Every self-image, every self-identity now is this over here in this Vijnanamaya Kosha. Buddhi Jnanendriya Panchakam cha Militva Vijnanamaya Kosha. Buddhi, the intellect, the faculty of not just discrimination, the faculty of discrimination is viveka. That's one aspect of buddhi. But knowing, because you are going to know even the snake. Which snake? Obviously, in Vedanta class we don't have any other snake. There is only Rajju Sarpa. That snake only is allowed here, no other snake allowed. Because what are you going to say? I know. So there is knowledge. But is that knowledge? But it is knowing. You are knowing the snake. Vijnanamaya Kosha. So, Buddhischa Jnanendriya Panchakam Militva, along with the 5 organs of knowledge, the intellect, along with the 5 organs of knowledge, is the Vijnanamaya Kosha.
So that 5 organs of knowledge
are common between Manomaya and Vijnanamaya. Because it is the same cognition, if it functions as confusion or as uncertainty, it is mind. But when there is certain degree of certainty with it, it becomes your knowledge. I am sure it was a snake. And if you weren't sure that whether it was a snake or not, you wouldn't run. The fellow who is sure that this is a silver starts running towards it, towards that nacre, the shell. Because nobody runs looking at the shell. This fellow is running to collect it. For why? For what reason? Because it is silver for him. Correct? So there is certainty, there is a little certainty which has initiated the action. There is a degree of certainty with it. But when there is uncertainty, it is the function of mind. Sankalpa vikalpatmako manaha. The sankalpa and vikalpatmaka, with uncertainty, cognition is called as mind. I am confused if I should marry this boy or that boy. This fellow looks good, but that fellow is, good-natured. But this fellow has more money. That fellow comes from very ordinary, even if I have to, I separate, I will at least separate, get good money. If I separate from him, I will only have to give him. So whom should I marry? There is confusion. This confusion or uncertainty is called as the mind. It is cognition. And therefore, the Jnanendriya Panchakas are common. By the virtue that it is a cognition, But cognition with uncertainty is mind, and cognition with some certainty is buddhi. Same thing. Got it? And this is everything that we keep on saying. I know, I am sure, I am not sure, I want, I don't want, I am karta, I am bhokta. All these are sheets. Every claim that you are making about the I is nothing but claiming that what is not I as I. Adhyaropaha. Got it? That's why it is a kosha. Now finally, Anandamaya koshakaha. What is called as Anandamaya kosha? The sheath of bliss. Sukham. Okay? What is that? Priyamodadi. No, it is different with you?
Evameva karana sharira bhuta vidyastha malin sattvam priya divya saritam sattvam.
दिखाओ जरा क्या है वो. I'll read that. Even this is wrongly written. Anyway, evameva कारण शरीर भूत भूत अविद्या अविद्यस्थ होना भूताविद्यस्थ मलिन सत्वं प्रियादिवृत्ति सहितं सत् आनंदमय कोशः. He says, Anandamaya kosha is basically malina sattva. It is sattva guna. But how is this sattva guna? Malina means contaminated, impure, polluted, adulterated. Malinam. Okay? What? So, sattva guna, there is prominence, but that sattva guna which now has what do they call, which sattva guna which was supposed to be prominent has got is dominated by raja and tama, then it is called as impure sattva. Okay? This is what is impurity is. Malina sattva. Priya moda pramodadi vrittimat swaswarupa jnanam yadasti tadanandamaya koshaha. So, what is it consisting of? Consisting of three experiences. Three means it is a continuum actually. Priya, Moda and Pramoda. Priya means that what is dear. Moda means, and dear means the positive degree of happiness. Priya. That you like some food, and when it is served, you definitely will like it. Priya. So there is a positive degree of happiness. Priya. Then moda. Moda means a degree higher than Priya. A degree higher than Priya. That is how the children are being allured into food or about anything. Look here, if you can give up chocolate, I will give you to play the video game. Though the child likes the chocolate, yet he can give it up. Why has he given up? Because he sees that there is a possibility of higher degree of happiness. Correct? So Priya, and then there is more, and that is Moda. It is called as Moda. And then even more than Moda is Priya Moda Pramoda Prakarshena. Priya Moda Pramoda. All these three variations are what? Modifications of happiness or not? And it is quite possible that what is very, very dear to you once upon a time can become ordinarily dear. And that what is ordinarily dear also can become very, very dear. That's how we shift the loyalties with friends and make them best friends. Best friend becomes friends. True or not? So there is modification of these, the happiness. It is modification, it is happiness which is seen as modifying. Okay? Where happiness is seen as modifying happiness, it is Anandamaya Kosha. I am happy. I am more happy than yesterday. I am very, very happy. I have never been happy like this. I am going to get married. She has said yes. And that's is like, punctured. The hawa nikal gayi. Then after, very happy, the best day of my life. Okay. You heard that, right? One small boy asked his father, "Father, is marriage a very expensive thing?" The father said, "Yes, son, it is very, very expensive. I am still paying the price." Best day. Priya Moda Pramoda. These are the modifications. Really speaking, that happiness is not something which modifies. Happiness is not subject to modification because that is the nature of the being, of the self. If happiness which modifies is seen as your definition, I'm happy, I'm very happy, I'm most happy, and then it is nothing more than Anandamaya Kosha. or not? So now that Anandamaya Kosha has become the concealment, that has concealed, hidden. What has it hidden? I am.
Because of the Anandamaya Kosha, so difficult because of that. How do you define self someday?
That what is other than Anandamaya Kosha. अन्य व्यावर्तक लक्षण है ये. This we will do if Bhagavan wants, we can do, and that is in a little advanced work called as Tattva Bodha. It's this thick. That book itself will take about 2 years. But everything over there, every minute that you have spent over there with that is worth Tattvanusandhanam. Over there, he explains that the lakshanas can be of two types. Lakshana means the defining, and without that defining characteristic, the object cannot be identified. Right? There cannot be any knowledge possible. Two basic things are required, and both of them are required together. Just having one is not sufficient. Both of them are required together. What are those? For knowledge of an object. Exactly, and so how do we say that? How do we say that? Lakshana pramanabhyam vastu siddhi. How is it said?
Pramanabhyam siddhi.
Panditji, how do we say that? Lakshana pramanabhyam.
Lakshana pramanabhyam vastu
siddhi. Okay. Vastu siddhi means making the object evident, known. That is the siddhi of that object. If it is not known, what is the evidence of it being there? If it cannot be known, what is the evidence of its existence? In any which ways, when you will prove its existence, it will be known. So knowing itself becomes the proof of its existence. And hence it is what? Vastu siddhi. Siddha hona. Then what happens is, we should see this tomorrow. I'll tell before it slips my mind. Lakshana pramanabhyam vastu siddhi. So, bhyam, what you see as bhyam over there, you understand what is lakshana, the defining, and pramana
means to knowledge.
So, lakshana and pramana. What is bhyam? dual case of the instrumental case. In Sanskrit we have singular, dual and plural. By, through, when these words are used, that object is the instrument. How are you going to Delhi? By bus. So now the bus has become the instrument. So instrumental case, correct? So in this instrumental case or fourth and fifth case of the dual is always used as bhyam. Lakshana pramana bhyam. Through or by, because of the lakshana and pramana, an object is known. That's it. So bhyam, dual case is there. So also it is used, bhyam will be used to say to, salutations to Sita and Rama. So how will it be? Sita Ramachandra Bhyam Namaha. Okay? Sita Ramachandra Bhyam Namaha. So there was this Bairagi Mahatma. You have heard? This Vaishnava Bairagi Mahatmas were there. So one day he comes and he says, and they pray to Sita Ram. There. He says, I know Sita, I know Ramachandra. Who is this Bhyam? Who is this Bhyam? Then meditated. I found who Bhyam is. That is Hanumanji. Sita Ramachandra Bhyam. To salutations to Sita, Rama and Hanuman. Not wrong. Hey, it is not Hanuman. It is Bhyam is to Sita. Hey. Bhyam is also there or not? Sita is there, Ramchandra is there, Bhyam is also there. Bhyam, Ramachandra, Bhyam Namaha. Lakshana Pramana Bhyam, what happens? Vastu Siddhi. Now, the Lakshana is the defining characteristic. There are two types of lakshanas. One is called as tatastha lakshana and one is called as the swarupa lakshana. Tatastha lakshana means Eric.
Tatastha lakshana.
Tatastha. Tata means the bank of a river. Okay. Now, someone who is just sitting on the bank of the river, he has not actually gotten into the water. Will he get wet? So, Lakshana, which is able to show the object by staying on the bank, without being involved. Okay, that is called as tatastha lakshana. What is it called? So a person who is sitting on the bank will also show this is river, and the fellow who is there swimming, he will also say, hey, this is river. Both of them are showing the river. Tatastha lakshana is also showing the river, and swarupa lakshana, wherein the very nature of that object is used to define the object. What has happened, Aradhana?
To define the
What?
Tattva Bodha.
No. Don't bring words from here and there. Then pay attention. Swamiji, don't embarrass me. Therefore, what is Swarupa Lakshana? Where the nature of the object is used to define the object. Swarupa only is used to define the object. So Swarupa only becomes the Lakshana. So how many Lakshanas did you... This will all go over there in Tattvanusandhana, very beautiful. It goes slowly but very interestingly. Swarupa Lakshana, Tatastha Lakshana. So we have two Lakshanas here now. Now, in this case, Mrs. Bhagat, you are asking, but what is this Atma? What are we discussing? We are discussing the Lakshana of Atma. Okay. What are we discussing? That through which it can become known. And the word that is used was Panchakoshatitaha. Panchakoshatita, Atitaha. Atita means beyond. Beyond the Panchakoshas. Which means one will have to cross over. Crossing over. So when you say beyond the river, where is this village? Across the river. Across the river, then you will reach that village. So the word is Panchakoshatitaha. This is a Tatastha Lakshana only. In order to reach the village, you will have to cross the river because it is beyond. In Panchakoshatitaha, the Panchakoshas will have to be crossed. To cross the Panchakoshas is to know them. And therefore, Panchakosha, this is Panchakosha. And that what is not the Panchakosha is, you've gone beyond. In rejecting the Panchakosha, one has gone beyond. In negating the Panchakosha, one has gone beyond. And therefore there is this, that is it. Okay? Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaha Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om. आइए डिंगरा साहब.